Good evening, everybody. My name is Noah. So, I'm here to talk to you tonight about HousingAssist, a project that I've been working on for the last 6 months, just like everybody else. HousingAssist supports economic diversity in Austin by helping lower-income residents afford the costly and critical home repairs that they need to keep their homes. Homeownership is the foundation of civic engagement. Many studies show this. A recent study by UNC Chapel Hill, a longitudinal study, showed that homeownership was the leading factor for people to be committed to improving life in their community. As soon as renters who were not committed earlier became homeowners, they were shown statistically to be more committed. So if we want to improve civic engagement, one of the things that we can do is support homeowners. And we have something from Imagine Austin here. We want to protect neighborhood character by providing opportunities for existing residents who are struggling with rising housing costs to continue living here. Why is this here? Because Austin is experiencing, as many of you know, alarming rates of gentrification and displacement. So we went to interview many individuals around East Austin in particular to understand what was their experience in all of this. And we found that they don't want affordable housing. There actually isn't even that much affordable housing going around. There's a huge waiting list. They want to keep their homes. So what's the challenge here? One person that we talked to exemplifies this. This is his home. And I dedicated this tonight to this man. His name is Hancock. He's lived in this home for 56 years, since he was 9 years old. And he has been a reliable neighbor in his neighborhood. Very good man. And he's struggling to keep his home. Now, property taxes are a challenge. I'm not going to deny it and say that that doesn't exist and this is the way. But they're one challenge, and housing repairs is something that low-income individuals are especially susceptible to in a way that higher-income people are not. And he struggled with this. So he needed to get a new roof. He had water coming in, and it was in buckets, and had mold growing, and needed to get that roof, and he looked for housing repair assistance, and he couldn't get it. And so this is how he repaired that roof. He got a mortgage instead of getting the housing repair assistance. Now, that mortgage was $10,000. And Hancock is now $10,000 behind in his property taxes. As you can guess, Hancock is leaving. And he has to move. And he's not moving within Austin. It's too expensive. He's going to Killeen. I can't pay the money. I stayed here as long as I could. I'll have to heal when I leave. And it's not just Hancock who has to heal. Austin is injured by losing residents like this. If we want to make a difference, one of the things that we can do is ensure that people have access to these critical home repairs. So he's not alone. In Austin, there's 26,000 homes in need. And if we can help these individuals in their communities, then we can help those communities to stay whole. The Austin Housing Repair Coalition exists for this purpose. Many organizations, including the city, are bonded together to help people with these critical housing repairs. So I partnered with Meals on Wheels, one of them in particular, which is actually, it's called Meals on Wheels and more now, because they also do housing repairs. And they are the largest housing repair provider in Central Texas, with about half of all those repairs. So I partnered with them closely to understand the process and the system. And I found that there's one key problem and it may seem very simple. The application overwhelms residents, draining resources and diluting the potential impact. Overwhelms them, and I'm going to show you why. So this individual has called a provider and now knows that they are eligible for repairs. So they're given a form. What does the form look like? Right away, we see irrelevant requests. And what I mean by this is, please provide copies of the following income documentation if it applies to you. You know, it's a form. You should just put everything for people to consider. Now, what would that be? Here are just some of the documents. Proof of payment in lieu of earnings. I don't really even know what that is. I'm finishing. And so many other things on this form which I don't have, and which I don't know, and I have a lot more education than these people. And at Meals on Wheels, they told me that 90+% of these individuals only need these 3 things. So automatically, there's a lot of dross in here, and it's irrelevant. In addition, we have overwhelming requests. Here are all of the income sources that you need to report on for all of these different individuals, but this is meant for a bureaucratic employee. This is not meant for an applicant. So I don't even know what a co-head is. Right here, a co-head, we want you to total all the adult members' Social Security by line and add that up. It's overwhelming. And so because of that, people are overwhelmed, and there's not just one application. There's multiple applications. And across these applications, here's what we just saw. Here's another one that has very similar information in a different way. We have gross income per pay period by each person. And a third, which asks for monthly income, but whereas these were for all adults and children in the household, this one is only for people over age 18. It's confusing, even for me. So what does it take to help people with this amount of overwhelm? Well, it's about 4 hours on average. And for 1,000 applicants annually across the network, that is over $120,000, which doesn't go to service. It goes to supporting an application process. The overwhelm leads to a dependency on providers to complete applications, which increases costs. Administrative costs not going to service. And there's another problem. All these applications, there's another route that you can go. People are giving up. And the forms are the major reason, I was told. Half of the people who are told they're eligible don't complete the forms. Half. So here's a picture of what happens. It's so overwhelming that there's dependency, it takes a lot of administrative costs, and that right away knocks off how many houses we're able to support. In addition, we have all these people who have applied and are eligible for support, so we need to make a choice. How are we going to make an investment in this community? And when half the people give up, how do you know who is the neediest? How can you make the best strategic impact if half the people who are eligible can't complete the application? This is why the application overwhelms residents. This is why it drains resources. And this is why it dilutes the impact of the Housing Repair Coalition to support residents and to keep neighborhoods whole. So we need to change this application model. And we need an accessible and supportive application. This is where HousingAssist comes in. It's an accessible and supportive online application that helps providers shift their funds from overhead to impact. Does it through 3 ways. One is universal access, so individuals can apply to all of the programs and all of the providers at once. It has built-in supportive features so people can complete the application more independently. And it's streamlined, meaning that if I ask you, are you renting or owning? If you rent, I can right away knock off a lot of the questions and not overwhelm that resident. So to do this, I gathered all of the applications, analyzed and synthesized them into one data set of applications mapped back to the originals. Now, what do I mean by universal? We have all of these providers and forms, and HousingAssist can connect all of them so that when the individual comes on the scene, they only have one universal portal where this is which they're experiencing. And it's supported and streamlined, so we have a clean look right away and a conversational interface. Okay, let's get started with the home section. It's welcoming and it speaks in people's normal everyday language. Is this your primary residence? Yes. Do you rent or own the home? It's one question at a time, and it's streamlined based on people's prior input. I own the home, one more question. If you have questions along the way, ask for help. And you can have help such as, what is this? What does this mean? Where do I find this document? How can I find help? So in terms of results, HousingAssist improves the completion rates. And because people are able to complete these more independently, it can save $80,000 per year across the network. In addition, because we have higher completion rates, we can have a greater pool of applicants to choose from in investing in these individuals and in this community, have a better strategic impact, and have a better strategic impact for these 26,000 individuals who are in Austin city limits alone. So can we keep Austin whole? In 1980, this is what Austin looked like. You can see East Austin, it was majority black. Now, 2010, the population has shifted from about 80% African American to about 20% as of the last census. And the question might be, can we still save East Austin? And I can't answer that. Property taxes are a challenge, but housing repairs is an opportunity where we can provide critical support to individuals in these communities. And there's other communities in Austin which still need our help. In terms of my next steps, I have prototyped part of this system and will continue prototyping it. I'm exploring funding with individuals such as those who provide these forms in the first place to understand this opportunity. And I have a report that I'm providing to the Austin Housing Repair Coalition, which I'll be finalizing and giving to them to investigate how we can make this a reality. Thank you.